Hello everyone! Welcome back to the sauna that is the Pacific Northwest. I don't know what they say in the temperature is. The temperature here is sunny and 31 degrees. What is that? That's 31, 62, 90, 94, 95 degrees, somewhere in there. Ay, ay, ay. So Brian's a bit, I don't even know what the term is, flushed. And actually, I wasn't even really on the site too much yesterday. I got to air conditioning in my bedroom. I don't have it in this office for some reason. Don't know why. So I just hung out after class yesterday. I just hung out in the bedroom and just did stuff in there. But of course, the big computer, the big YouTube machine is on in the office. So here I am, sweating my sweats off. Wow! And I even tweeted out earlier today that guess what, you people in Eastern North America, usually the weather goes from west to east. So get ready. This is Bing Bog is right. This is gonna be your future probably in a week or two. But I can't remember the last time it was this hot in June here in BC. So who knows? Maybe that's portending to our future here this summer. And I was kind of thinking about too. It would make perfect sense. If you think about the 1920s. And I was even sort of looking it up a bit. It's fascinating when you actually go back and look at what the 1% and the people who sort of, they drive this stupid Fakezi bus. They sort of force the kids to learn, and what I learned, like in the 1970s, as what the history of, our society and how it went down. The bottom line here is in the 1920s, there was 1930s, there was a fairly significant dust bowl, which in essence was a period of drought, and the crops they just wouldn't grow. And what's interesting is, as history goes by, they shill the message. Well, it was because of overproduction of the existing land and poor agricultural practices. I got a funny feeling, just like Spanish flu and stuff, how that was poo-pooed, and of course, boom, here we are living with the sickness. I have a funny feeling, and also too, if we think about the money masters and why is the world in such chaos right now with regard to things like inflation and stuff like that? Frankly speaking, it has very little to do with the media message. Actually, it's funny. There's somebody who joined the site here the other day, and he's like, I can't wait till he's done, man. I'm like, okay, well, I sure hope you got your tinfoil hat at the front door. I think Kavarkinator was handing them out. In fact, you're not allowed to even be in the Google Hangout here unless you have your tinfoil hat on. And my tinfoil hat right now looks like this, right? This is my tinfoil hat. I don't know whether you can see. Probably the people in the Hangout can see my tinfoil hat. We won't show YouTube what it is. I will call that an inside joke. Gilligan's Island tinfoil hat. I've been thinking more and more that it would make perfect sense for us over the next 5-10 years, and of course nobody's talking about this now, but it would make perfect sense over the next 5-10 years. Of course, it's going to make our food prices ridiculously expensive, but it would make sense that we actually have a dust bowl. Like thinking everything seems to be moving in these 100-year cycles. The way that the money masters screw us over with the financial system, 1920s. And then, of course, the Great Depression, 1930s. Jekyll Island, 1913. Then 100 years prior. You know how the story goes. Why, same thing. Every 100 years we have one of these crazy sicknesses, and it wreaks havoc on the population. Ironically enough, stunningly cliche. It's just for some darn reason, we as humans just are not learning from our history. Is it because certain people, to line their pockets, 1%, want to keep us unenlightened? I don't know. Sure hope my videos, my public rants and stuff actually make it through the course of time. People, like 60, 70, 80, 90 years from now go, hey, you remember that Beamish guy? He was talking about 2020. How this stuff seems to repeat every 100 years. Well, here we go. 2120, here we go. But it'll be 90 years. So ironically enough, it'll be right at the top of the century. Bing bong. There's the 1%. They've arrived. Hello, 1%. Ready to knock me over? So, I did find it interesting that I don't think it really has anything to do with our making. I think, just like Spanish flu, I think there will be another Dust Bowl event, but guess who this is going to serve perfectly? I mean, the funny thing is we could probably talk about the very normal crop failure cycles that societies go through on this sort of 100-year basis. And yet, they're going to totally spin this like, oh, this is further evidence of global warming and catastrophe and all blah, 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 blah. Which further is going to speak to the 1%. And, of course, they're going to have all the assets that serve this all cornered. And I just was thinking about this. I love to sort of sit and ponder sort of big picture what's in news that's coming that I don't think anybody's expecting. And I was thinking about this, that I wouldn't be surprised if, like, through a huge swath of sort of mid-central Canada right down through the United States, we actually have a Dust Bowl in the next 5-10 years. So mark my words. Anyway, I've been thinking about this, and I think it's coming. And like I said, what really sucks about this is the Larry Finks of the world and the the Klauses of the world. They will make a fortune off of this angle. The Koch brothers and all those people. And, the climate change and, we have to all switch to electricity or, whatever. And the irony of it all is that through the manufacturing of the actual parts for the electrical grid and stuff like that, we're not going to be any more or less environmentally friendly. So it's all a joke at the end. But I get a funny feeling, this is going to play really well. And I think the 1% know that something like this is coming. And this is going to totally play right into their sort of narrative. That it's all Whitey's fault for screwing over this world, and let's get Whitey. I don't know. Sure feels like Whitey's taking it on the chin these days, that's for sure. But that's another conversation for another day. Anyway, so something to think about. I like to ponder kind of funny things that people haven't really thought about, and I got a funny feeling a Dust Bowl is coming. Which, of course, would just be the icing on the cake in this crazy-ass fucking world, eh? Shane, he told us a couple years ago that we have like 6 different celestial events all happening in this sort of 2020 time period. And that doesn't happen every day. In fact, it doesn't happen very often, like once every million years or so. And we're just getting hit by like 20 different things all simultaneously. Merry Christmas. Sure hope we all live through this. Party on. I guess living, in the sweltering heat right now, I suppose if you're back east, you don't even know that. But, oh boy, it's hot here. So this summer, it's going to be a smoker. I do hear lots of blinging and blanging, so I don't know whether somebody's trying to message me desperately, or I just got a lot of big fan club. Let's see. Kevin's giving me the BCS questions document. I guess they must be winding up here pretty soon. They were spending the week. Hey, there's Kevin. Learning about fractals. and the Mandelbrot set. Actually, what I would really like is there's another video, and I shared it in the lounge this morning. So where are we here? Is this today? 6:20? No. Today's 27th, so that was last week. Oh, only one questions. Oh, that's easy. Awesome. That means either Grimm's a totally awesome teacher, or none of these people are buying any of this shit. All the time to rant away. Oh boy, man, am I going to get myself in trouble today if I do that. All right, well, you can see they're doing their thing. I guess the level 1 class, like I said, they just finished. And if you are a level 1er and you're watching this now, I actually really like the idea of we sort of introduce you in the level 1 program to this kind of fun video. Mandelbrot sets and how everything's a fractal. It just keeps going and 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 going. The universe is a fractal. Though what was fascinating, I've sort of, over the past year, I've been learning more about chaos theory, and this gentleman, so like this is the kind of thing I hope my videos kind of, hold this kind of traction. Obviously, this guy's like super duper cool. Way better talker, just a better human all around, so as a result he gets a gazillion hits. I mean, he's super smart, super likable guy. It makes sense why he does so well. But he really has taken this thinking for me, and it's just another example. There's a bunch of these videos on on YouTube about there is that Mandelbrot set that I tried to sort of introduce you to here. You can see the same image. There it is. There. Let's see if we can get a nice picture. And almost. Well, anyway, so you can see almost. They used to call it the bug, and actually, when this first came out, it was really cool. In Europe, they used to have T-shirts and stuff on this, and it was all the rage. And that's when math was sexy and hot, and Mandelbrot himself was a sex symbol, and Foggy. I mean, you've all seen Foggy's pictures from the 1970s. I mean, wow, what a handsome guy, a total dish. If you haven't, here I got to show you. Just for the record, where is that total dish? It's around here somewhere. Logos. Foggy Buggy. There he is. I mean, this guy, what a sex symbol. Look at that hair. Oh my goodness. I wonder if you could actually do one of those fib studies off of his hair. Damn. So, anyway, that's good old Foggenbaum. But check this out. So there is the Mandelbrot. Mandelbrot's not nearly as sexy, but what this guy kind of tried to figure out. So there's that Mandelbrot set right there, and I really think you guys should watch this video. And what he did, and I thought this was so cool. And actually, it's in Arabic too, so that's an even better bonus. But what's so trippy is check that out. So what he's doing here is he took the Mandelbrot set and he's just turning it on its side. And lo and behold, there's our Foggy Buggy. Isn't that cool? So literally what you guys in the level 1 program just learned today, sort of understanding the fractal nature of the universe. What's so super cool is that I've been studying this concept called chaos theory for quite a while, and this is the only guy who's been able to really kind of explain what the hell's going on. And you can see there's the Mandelbrot set, and there's the actual bifurcation Foggenbaum. And Foggenbaum, in essence, is this ratio. This ratio is always the same. This ratio of the distance here to the height here, it's always exactly the same. 4.669. 4 units of probably width for 1 unit of time. That's probably how it goes. Anyway. So, super cool. I mean, I suppose at some point, if I ever get around to it where I can actually wrap my head around this and actually feel as though I could do it justice, I will sort of put together an education module on this. But I'll tell you, man, this is deep state kind of shit, man. No, deep state? No, it's nothing to do with that. Deep math. But what's fascinating is that this math is in everything. So, he starts off the conversation with, it was first sort of postulated to see that Feigenbaum constant in water and the way water changes its behavior given heat added to it, and how it follows that bifurcation model. But I mean, there's so many crazy things that this one equation just dominates everything about our existence. It's basically kind of like us understanding the matrix. What's fascinating is here, for example, this is they could actually control a rabbit's heart rate with certain drugs, which is not very fair to the rabbits. But they actually noticed that the heart rates actually followed the Feigenbaum principle, and based on the fact that they knew when the sort of heart rate was going to bifurcate, they could inject an electrical signal and bring the heart back into normal beating pattern, which I thought was fascinating. But the point here, and it's in everything, and of course, the example that he uses, which everybody can understand if I can find it, but anyway, is the dripping faucet, and try and understand the flow. There it is. Try and understand the flow of water and the why that water actually changes its behavioral pattern. Again, it's everything to do with this Feigenbaum constant and the fractal nature of the universe. So that's and of course, it says traders. Well, what a surprise! We see this kind of behavior in the stock market and asset prices all the time. So, we're kind of opening up Pandora's Box for you here today. How deep down the rabbit hole do you want to go? I tell you, man, this rabbit hole goes pretty damn deep. Actually, the guy, and I learned this when I was first a broker 20, 30 years ago, and the son of a bitch would never fucking share it. But this is basically chaos theory, and the guy that founded Interactive Brokers, I can't remember what his name is, he actually said that he got rich trading chaos theory. So, I don't know. You guys want to get rich? I tell you, man, this shit works. It's stunning how it works. But first, I would call this running. First, you gotta remember last week we had to introduce you to fibs and the way the nature sort of the best image I think to describe fibs is I have this funny I have this funny image of all the different fib ratios. Oh, look at that. They got rid of it off of Twitter. Oh, actually, you know what? This is probably... oh, well. Anyway. Well, maybe I have it on my file here. But, last week, doing the fib sequence, that was all about understanding the way I suppose nature would like to sort of express itself, like ratios of distance and size. This is a good one. So this is the Ukraine Parliament when they were having slight issues there a few years ago. So this is what you learned last week, right? The whole idea of the fib spiral. Now we're sort of trying to incorporate learning about things like Mandelbrot and the fractal nature of the universe. And ultimately, I want to get you to the point of understanding chaos theory. We do have a number of lectures on the site, so go and look in the video library, search for Feigenbaum, I know Raph and I know Bobo, for example. They both did a really, really cool lecture on Fog and Balm there a while ago. And I've done some daily briefs that sort of speak to Foggy Boggy and sort of the ways that I've used it. So by all means, just check out in the video library. Man, we got tons of videos in there. And then also what I would say is, if you want to, now this is like extra work. So you don't have to, but remember, you're only going to get you're only going to get out as much from this course and this education program that you put into it. So you're going to put a little bit more time and effort to learn a little bit more how the universe works. Awesome. You can only benefit from it. You can't really get hurt by it, but, maybe add that to your, well, I'm trying to learn about fractals, I'm trying to learn about Mandelbrot, I'm trying to learn about the way price actually moves and changes and shifts in the universe. Well, there's the secret. It's right there for you. Merry Christmas. Especially, that dickhead guy who was like, you're just this Beamish guy. He's just a shill, right? I'm telling you right here. This is a free YouTube video. Go and watch this guy's video. Hey, you want to teach yourself how to use it? Great, fine, fucking A, awesome. Is that me shilling you, son of a bitch? All right. Anyway, all right, so that's the big shit that the level 1ers are trying to tackle this week. That's not an easy pill to swallow. The red pill. Hi there, you guys. That's great. Thanks, Josh. Oh yeah, that's the one I wanted to show you. There you go. Thanks, Josh. Oh, you rock. So, this is what you level 1ers learned last week, whether it be Mr. Wonderful's hair, whether it be, weather patterns in nature, whether it be the construction of our galaxies. This is like learning the Matrix, trying to understand how this shit all works together. And then, like I said, this week, now you've got, of course, Mandelbrot. That's great. Is that Trump, or is that actually looks like me? I got a big fat ass. Anyway. All right, moving on. Cool. Okay, so that's sort of what the level 1ers are doing right now. I think the level 1ers are out of class, but I didn't really see too many questions from them. So let's see how we did over here. They're filling up. Can we talk about fractals? All right, well, that's kind of what I just said there. In your presentation, you give a candlestick pattern called fractal, which looks very much like head and shoulders. But what I find confusing is, why is that one called a fractal? I see fractals everywhere in the chart. Even Harami looks like a fractal or of a triangle. Good. Well, that's good. Excellent. You know what'll end up happening is this is great. But after I teach people these programs, I have one guy who is like, when I walk down the street, I see fucking cracks in the sidewalks, and all I see are M's and W's. It's like, holy shit, I'm bullish of that crack. Oh no, I'm bearish of that crack. And in the class, I go, don't step on the lines, or you'll break your mother's spine. So give that new meaning. So what ends up happening, ironically enough, is the deeper you go down this rabbit hole, you're going to see that everything is about triangles. I mean, does anybody know what was missing? Actually, this would be a good question, because I see somebody over there on YouTube's making reference to Tesla. What was Mr. Tesla's favorite number? Maybe I should ask you, would Mr. Tesla do anything with something that had a number that didn't associate with 3? Maybe you don't know that. Look it up. How many angles are there in a triangle? And actually, what's really cool, and I never got around to it because I'm so fucking lazy and it's too fucking hot, so there's no way I'm going to do it now. But what's super, super cool is if you actually want to break the universe down, right? And this is this fib spiral that somebody asked me a few weeks ago to do, and I was just like, it's too much fucking work. Sorry, I'll get around to it eventually. But there's that spiral again, and notice, is there a spherical shape that just keeps repeating itself here? And this is what you need to understand. This is why the fib spiral looks the way that it does, right? This right here, because really what this really is, hopefully you can see, is that this is just, it's infinite triangles. Triangle within a triangle within a triangle within a triangle. And if you zoomed in on this, it would just keep going to infinity. This is the way the universe works, is these crazy triangles. So that's the number of 3. And hopefully you see that it just repeats over and over and over. So you can actually build yourself a perfectly symmetrical fib triangle or a spiral just simply by building your first triangle, having all the angles correctly, and then just keep working backwards to infinity. And you can actually plot out exactly what the angles, what the height of each of these triangles are, and you can do this like perfectly. It's a pain in the ass, and it takes probably about an hour or 2 of work, but you can come up with a pretty damn good forecast of what's going to happen in the future just based on this triangle principle of the universe playing itself out. So, are triangles important? Yeah. And really, the bottom line is in the introduction to technical analysis, right? What does market in transitions look like? Almost every single top you see in the marketplace or bottom actually looks like some sort of triangle. I mean, it's uglier than poop, but technically, and I just happen to have this year, but, technically, there's some sort of triangle going on here, right? Put that a little bit lower. So you can clearly see something built to an apex here, and then wabash, right? That sort of release. Everything is built on triangles. I mean, I might even argue that this thing right here, right now, is actually making a triangle just like that. Right? And actually, this is kind of cool. This is like a right triangle, and I don't know, you ever heard that Beamish guy talk about like 78.6s? And, hopefully what you see here is, hey, this looks like a little triangle within a bigger triangle. I mean, everything is about triangles. So, your comment, whoever asked that question, if anything, that's getting good. That shows that, hey, you're cluing in. Anyway, can't do that really well. But here you can see triangle within triangle. You're going to see a lot of triangles. And I don't think it's an accident, right? Mr. Tesla and all that kind of fun stuff. What was the page I was just on with the questions? Is that way? No, that's the meat. Where are we? Over here somewhere. I always do this every week. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, okay, here it is. So, where are we? I see fractals everywhere in the chart. Even a harami looks like a fractal, a triangle, and a golfing pattern, a megaphone, perhaps. Could be. I mean, let me ask you this question. Fede, are you here? Fede? Is Fede here? Fede. How I love you, dear. Hey, there you are. Frederico! Right on. Cool name. How do we sort of want to go about this? Maybe, I don't know whether Grim has gotten you to that point yet or not, but do you know how the cadence of this process of hunting trades goes? Have we talked about this with you guys yet in the level 1? Maybe not. The something step process. Oh, by the way, number 3. Yep, there you go. Geez, there's that 3 again. So, excellent, Rachel. So Rachel's right on the ball. Rachel, you in level 1? Hey, Rachel, you are, I don't know whether you got a microphone, but man, you are active. I like to see. You're full of piss and vinegar, aren't you? I got a funny feeling if you wanted it, you could be a really cool contributor to this site if you want. I can see it in you. So ball's in your court, lady. It's up to you. Okay, so hopefully what you saw was, like I said, that markets in transition. They make this fractal type pattern. Harami technically is an inside bar, which is a fractal. And if an easy way for you to see them, and it's you don't necessarily have to take it, but it's just a nice, easy way to see them. This is the Williams fractal tool that you can just grab on TradingView. You just go indicators, and I think you can just type in Williams. There it is, Williams fractals. So that's what that is. I'm not quite sure what the default setting is. I think it's probably best to set this thing to like 3 bars. That's the kind of fractals I like. You can go all the way up to 5 bars. Which would be sort of like the most ultimate kind of like maple leaf. You show you the maple leaf in class. But for trading purposes, I'm fine with 3. So the question really ultimately becomes, you can see how many fractals there are. You're here, right? Right, Frederica? You're here. You can see how many fractals there are on the screen, eh? I mean, it's not like there's just one. There's a few of them, isn't there? So when do we actually start hunting for fractals? Is that the first thing that we do if we're thinking about buying something? Is that the second thing we do? Where does it fall in sort of the cadence? That's what I'm going for. Have you learned that yet? Yeah, in fact, as Alexander says here, what category would we actually throw the fractal in if we're thinking about how this sort of trade process kind of works? That's the number of bars before and after the middle candle. Okay, that's kind of cool, Kevin. All right, so then 2 does make sense then, eh? So, and actually, thank you. I appreciate that. So 2 would mean that there's 1 on either side of the pivot point. Okay, that's cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Didn't know that. Kevin Miller. Oh, do I know you, Kevin Miller? I know I was making reference to your buddy, oh, God, I can't even remember his name. Dennis. You remember Dennis? And all his crazy references. Man, he had some crazy-ass fucking references. Okay, so actually that's kind of cool. I like how that fractal thing, that actually makes more sense now. So I would want it set, and if the default is 2, then that's perfect. Oh no, 2 on each side, so that's like 5. So like 1 would be like 1. Oh, I can't even do 1. No, I got it. Maybe that's 2. Not quite sure why that. Isn't that interesting? So there's some of these that got that funny little hole in it. Not sure what that means. Okay, well, and look at this one. This one's got the signal on both sides of this 1 bar. So I don't know whether this is actually telling you whether they've confirmed or whether that, it just meets the criteria of higher highs and higher lows on either side of the candle. It could be, But anyway, the point here is just simply, when do we want to start going and hunting for fractals? Is that the first thing that we do if we're thinking about trading? That's the point of all this, whether you use this tool or not. The answer is no, right? Is it the second thing? Actually, I want to set you guys up for the highest odds of success. Kevin, your TA. Oh, he's so good at waiting for confirmed MACD divs. I love that about him. It's just now every time I look at a chart, I go, oh, Kevin's not going to like that. There's no fucking confirmed MACD div. I love that. I think I told you guys half the reason why I built this site is because when you work together as a group, you become far better traders than if you're just out there on your own. And I noticed in our little day trading room, working with professionals like Kiran and Daniele and the entourage of other day traders we have. Grim is in there. Kevin's in there. Man, my trading has totally sharpened up. Totally. So, definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. All right, so the point here is we would like to start with location. And I thought this is kind of an interesting one. I just so happened to have this on the screen. This was one that Chico was interested a while ago, but what a great analogy of technical analysis. You know, sometimes you have half-decent ideas, but you have to wait for the damn W's to come in for the bottom. So you can clearly see. And actually, I got Sharktoshi. Sharktoshi, are you here? I didn't have DeFi access, and I don't have an account on KuCoin. Chico Crypto. What's his real name? Tyler, right? Isn't it Tyler? I think that's right. Something like that. Maybe we'll just call him Mr. Crypto, I guess. Or Mr. Chico? I'm not sure. Anyway, point here is, pretty good story coming out of the gate, but the price action just wasn't there. And then you notice, well, gee whiz. Start making higher lows, and then, if anything, whoever asked that last question, there's another one of your triangles! Oh, no! Yeah, the fourth turning, eh? Oh, yeah, Jesus. Yeah, you're right. Caravelli, yeah. Fourth turning, that's an interesting book. Anyway, so we started to see this, and I actually asked Sharktoshi to go and grab some of this because he had DeFi access. So it was a great trade, beautiful trade. I don't even know whether Sharktoshi even got half on it. No, I think by this time we had transferred the coins over to Sjord. And I seem to recall that he let some go, but I can't remember exactly. We should have, if we didn't. But lo and behold, look at what's happening now. Nasty M. Ugh, yuck, never like to see that. So that's not good. Probably the top end of the range. But I thought this was fascinating. They completely dumped it. Wicks and tails like to be eaten, so look at this huge tail. So, quite literally, over the past couple months, all they've been doing is just coming back and eating this tail. Look at the cute little W that's trying to form here. Again, triangles. Yeah, you gotta get used to it, man. All this shit is just triangles. Triangle after triangle after triangle. And lo and behold, look at the cute little W that's trying to come in right here. You're gonna have to wait till level 2 to get into trendline trading. But I would be, I think, inclined to maybe just let a W come in on the other side of this trendline. I think what's gonna happen here is this thing's gonna pop. Then what I really want to see is like a W, and that's terrible. We ideally want to have the right-hand side of the W higher than the left-hand side. There we go. Something along those lines. That's what I would love to develop here. But it's just interesting, because I even mentioned this about Dogcoin the other day, is notice the price. It's $5.75 or thereabouts. Interesting how if we just get a 50% retracement, I'm not talking about new highs. I'm not talking about moon. In fact, probably just a underside kiss of this fail level. You notice that this is also going to be the bottom of value. So anybody who did buy all through this, if we get that counter trend rally, they're like, oh my God, get me the hell out of there, right? And they're going to sell. But do you notice that that's like 2.5 times current price? So this is starting to, in my eyes, look like it's actually manufacturing one of these kind of like double trades. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed. But, if you're like a gnarly old trader dude and you just see this asset and you go, all right, I could, come in, I don't know, maybe you buy the W, maybe you wait for a W on the other side of trend line. That's up to you and your plan. But I come in here at, say, 6 and change. I'm going to risk down to 4. So I'm basically going to risk $2.50. On 6, that's like 30%. And I'm going to look to take profits at the 50% rule. which is a substantial move. In fact, if I go long on that double bottom 635, I could sell half on a double at like this level here, not even back to the 50% level. I bet you that's probably right around 38.2. So it looks to me like they're manufacturing a trade here. Yeah, look at that. So what a coincidence. You know, we always say that you can't even really measure whether this is really a bear market, lower highs, lower lows, right? Or whether maybe, just maybe, call me crazy, maybe this is actually a bull market. Woohoo! Off we go. But right now, what we're asking is this really a bear market, lower highs and lower lows, and or, you know, is this back into a trading range? We can't even really answer that question until we have a 38.2 tag. That's just what usually happens. Usually the market rallies back up and then maybe M's out and down we go and break the lows. That happens a lot. So what a coincidence that just even right now, as this, and this is just one example, there's tons of these all over the market right now. I just see them everywhere in crypto. But in essence, this is basically a market that's trading at the bottom end of the range, and all it needs is just like the green light. Just needs somebody to say, yep, you know, we're done going down. We've got nice structure in here. Just start painting some W's, and I think a trade's coming in here. No guarantees, you know. Usually this is a trade like this, I would give odds of success maybe like 65-70%, somewhere in that area. So what is that? That's like basically two times in 3. If you took the trade, it would hit that 50% level, get your risk-free position, you know, sell half on a double, whatever, maybe take the whole damn profit. It's better than 2-to-1 risk reward. What do we say? That's like $6. In fact, what is the risk reward? It's probably pretty fat. If we buy that W, I would, like I said before, I'd prefer to get some sort of structure on the other side of this trend line, but that's just me being an old curmudgeon. But even if I just buy that W and we're going to take profits at 38.2, I mean, Jesus, look at that trade. That sets up a what does that say? 2.25 risk reward. In fact, yeah, I think because of that I think is I think it's a manufactured trade. It's just sitting there. So anyway, it's just one example, and Jesus, there's tons of them all over the market right now. So it's kind of cool that that's on the screen. And what do markets in transition look like when they're done going down? Well, usually they look like triangles right at the bottom, and then they'll turn back up. Anyway, okay, let's get back to this stuff. So what do you think there, Feddy? Did that help you at all? I'll give you something to think about. All right, cool. No problem. All right, next question. How is the market breadth used, interpreted from the trade perspective, seen in the portal dashboard? Rezvan. The issue here is that the message should be very simple, but unfortunately, it's incredibly complicated how it's calculated. So what I'm going to say is, unfortunately, you know, like what should happen here is I should be able to pull up, say, this pool, and I should be able to give you that DI reading that you saw on the dashboard. And Stuart, if you're watching this later on, how do we show these people these DI ratings? I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that. You can see this defaulted, and it must be like the default settings that I have for my preferred indicators. It defaults to that. But somehow, we'd have to be able to show you that DI reading, 85.71%. That's the key to all this. So, what the breadth indicator just simply does is it, you know, the S&P 500, so there's supposed to be 500 issues in this. So it just simply asks, is the reading of this pool and all the other S&P 500 companies, if they're a above the moving average, well, then they get a positive reading. If they're below the moving average, well, then they get a negative reading. That's their DI relative to the DI signaling system. And I can't show you that because we don't have that setting on the site, which kind of sucks, horsecocks. We'll have to, Sjord and I will have to figure that out tomorrow. And somebody remind me to ask Sjord about that in the daily brief tomorrow morning. But usually we have a meeting first thing Monday, so maybe we'll even talk about that before the daily brief. So, 500 issues. They all individually have their own DI readings. Are they above the moving average or below the moving average? Positive or negative? And then what we do is actually two different readings. So one reading is the fast, and that's sort of like the fast moving average. Think like 13 EMA, above or below the DI itself. And if you don't know what the DI is, then you're going to have to wait till level 2, because in level 2 we actually show you the trading view version of the DI, how it's calculated. We give you the script and all that, but I don't want to get into that today because I'll give you a quick peekaboo at it. Like I keep on the screen, I like to follow all of the big commodity markets with a DI script. Where the hell is it? It's one of these. There it is. And this script was written by one of our students from a few years ago, Sin, out of Australia. And basically the script is nothing more than and this is basically what the dashboard data is. It's just Sjord's not showing you any of this stuff. We have to we have to put it on the site. It has to be able to see. But in essence, what hopefully you see here is that the DI is just nothing more than just an amalgamation of a whole bunch of price momentum and volume momentum signals, right? So it's like 15 different signals, and then the 3 thumbs, which you'll learn, of course, in the level 2 program, is nothing more than just all of the signals off all the different time frames that we study. 3 different time frames, all pointing in the same direction. And when you get an Uber reading or a reading of 4, then it means the sequence of that actually is setting up a trade. So here you can see the sequence of the Uber readings all went bearish, and sure enough the market dumped. Here you can see the sequence of everything went bullish, and you can see the market's moving up. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole DI trading system and all that. All I'm going to say is every single issue has one of those bullish or bearish DI readings. And if it's the S&P 500, then really all this is just simply what's the fast moving average relationship to the index? That's the fast. And what's the slow moving average in relation to the fast moving average? That's the slow reading. And in essence, you can see that just, as the fast signals come in and more of the market is turning fast, well, you get a little bit of a buy signal there. And then over time, as the slow signals start coming in, well, they start turning up. And the bottom line here is that this gives you a great visual of the entire market. It's not just one issue. And this is the conversation, and this is really hard for most new people to trading. And most people in crypto, they just don't get this. But, if you work in the stock market long enough, you'll get it. But the question at the end of the day is, are you trading the stock market, or are you trading a market of stocks? If you are trading the stock market, then that means you're going and buying like the S&P 500 futures, right? And I'm just going to trade that. Or are you trading a market of stocks where, there's the Teslas in there and the Apples and the IBMs and all that? And I would make the argument that the way the market actually works is it's like think of it as like the tide, where the breadth or the whole market generally moves together. And our job as technicians is we really want to try and find when the market is all, especially if you're long and you're bullish, is all completely washed out, And what do you think? Anybody following crypto lately? Are people feeling fucking circle jerky? Fucking circle jerky. There's a term. Everybody raise your hand that are still circle jerking. I think the phallical well, but see, that's the thing, Razvan, is that we're not like the public, right? So yes, we are buying and we're excited, but we're not the normals. So it's kind of cheating what we do. But let's go out, like if you go out into crypto Twitter, right? And you go, how about, no, I'm not even going to mention it. But, how are the YouTube sort of people feeling? How's the diamond hands conversation? Do we hear a lot of people talking about diamond hands these days? So, ironically enough, usually when all of that nonsense is gone, what this visually is telling you is that, yeah, everything is down. Andre! Oh, I wanted to say hi to him. Everything's down on its knees. I mean, the whole damn market. This is, it's supposed to be the crypto top 30, but I think we only have 22 names in here. So, hey, if somebody on the site wants to go, would you guys get your act together and fill out the best 30 names in crypto for us to be following? Okay. We need the help. There's no doubt about it. But the point here is that, what do you think? Is the tone within the market pretty down? I'd say it is. And that's the visual representation. This is, like if you follow a stochastics oscillator, a reading below 20 is considered oversold. And I might argue, yeah, market sure feels a bit oversold right now. That's not actually a crazy statement. Now, that doesn't mean that the market's going to go straight up. It doesn't mean that at all. This, if anything, it's just another sort of, in your level oneers, people who are asking about how do you use this, think of this as the same thing that you're going to use the bullish percentage in the stock market. It's the same thing. So you could do the same on, stockcharts.com. And of course, we show you this in the Introduction to Technical Analysis. We go into this quite a bit more detail later on in the program in level 3. But this is the same logic. You can see if I type in bullish percentage, that's basically what this is, right? Bullish percentage. You can see market's pretty damn low. 10. So this bullish percentage, and I love this. This is something that we've kind of in a weird sort of way, we kind of accidentally tripped upon this while building this. But what we did was we took the bullish percentage of our crypto breadth, and it gave us this image, which hopefully what you see is this is like a magnified version of this little W that's coming in. So you can really see the market structure there. I mean, it's fucking awesome. Point here is, if you want to go and look at bullish percentage, you can get bullish percentage on a lot of different stuff in the stock market. Doesn't matter. I mean, here's the Canadian stock market. Same logic. Can't really make head or tail out of that, but if we maybe zoom out. Oh god, I don't even know how this works. It's been so long since I've used stockcharts.com. There you go. So that's really zoomed out. So it looks something like that. M's are bearish. W's are bullish. This is kind of a raw reading. And I think that our raw reading would be this violent. And really, these two are nothing more than moving averages. And I think that's what we've done here, is we've created a fast moving average and a slow moving average. The actual bullish percentage data, the raw data, would be really wild all over the place. But point here is, does it make sense that when this is crossing up in here, probably the market's feeling pretty good. We have like a rally window. Things are moving up in the market. If I'm going to go make money on the long side of the market, this is when I want to focus. And then, of course, I don't know. What do you guys think? Since when did this break? This broke June 11th. Does anybody want to help me out here? How's crypto done since June 11th? I don't think very good. Am I being facetious? Where is June 11th? June 11th is right there. Oh, interesting. So we went a little bit higher on the corn, and then we just puked out. So hopefully what you see, and you can kind of see my squiggly line theory. So we're getting the bounce. What I'd love to see is, can I have a nice W in here? And does it make sense that if this thing goes and W's out here, that probably there are going to be other cryptocurrencies that go and W out? Like maybe, there's Bitcoin, there's the W, right? You can see it. Remember, anybody who's been following along with my crazy RSI model, right? We would say that this W right down here actually, whoops. What color is that? I can't see it. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what I've done here. Let's try it again. Boom. Go that way. Oh, look at that. Can't draw anything. Okay, go color white. Oh no, you gotta go. Whoop. There we go. Yeah, I figured it out. Alright. So my first W here. So that kind of stops the bear. So at this point right here, I think you kind of want to, and this is oh, that's a daily chart too. So right there, as of this point, you should stop being bearish, right? Just cool your jets, just let this thing settle down. And then, you know, another W comes in. Geez, that's actually a buy signal. Yeah, all right, maybe that was the buy signal. Looks like this is kind of getting late stage and probably the third W. Did that come in off the 50 line? Oh no, really weak. So only like the 42. Point I would just say here is this slide, and probably like I would like to paint this like purple. I don't know if you guys have ever seen any of my funny little rants about RSI. This looks a mess though. Probably not best to use this. Anyway, there we go. That would be your third push higher. So boom, they break them. All the, you know, the late new buyers, they come in, they get hurt on this break here. Looks like it's trying to put in some sort of W. That might actually stop that slide. And really, I would just simply say right now, right? It's pretty simple. Boom, boom. So we go up through the top. Well, then we got a new W. Yeah, that's not bearish. If we M out and go through this pullback low, whatever that's going to be, that'll be bearish. So it's pretty straightforward. And then, of course, if we get a break through that level, that'll be even more bearishness. But that hasn't happened, right? So that's who knows what's going to happen here. What I would say right now is kind of sideways. We'll see how it goes. And that's off of the daily. We could probably drill down and get a better idea off the lower time frames of direction here. But what I would say is, can you see that if this goes and W's out, I guess it was this one. Yeah. We might get a W that comes in on ETH. Might get a W that comes in on Litecoin. And that's that whole breadth kind of idea. That this thing isn't just going to move on its own. And if it is just moving on its own, then really the odds of this thing having any serious legs, not so good. What, you know, if you're a bull, what you really want to see is you want to see the whole market lifting. So in a weird sort of way, you can kind of see that little double bottom in Bitcoin right now and a little double bottom in Litecoin. And if you go through a lot of these names, my hunch is there's little W's that are trying to W out here. You can see them, and if they do come in, then this thing will lift. And it will be, anecdotal evidence that the whole market is lifting together. And that's the definition of a really healthy bull market. So, hope that helps. We'll keep doing screenshots. Unfortunately, on the 11th, good timing, eh? Just as everything was breaking down, Sjord went on vacation, and the engine wasn't updating. So we got him back from vacation, and we lobbied for him to get it up and running. So it looks like it's back up and running. So now we've got some information to work with, and it's great. There's this one gentleman every single day. What's the crypto breath bride? What's the crypto breath bride? And probably, you just cooling your jets and just not doing anything, just playing it cool, just wait. That probably was not, pretty good idea. So, okay, I gotta potty, and I'll be right back. So somebody play some fun elevator music. I'll be right back. Holy moly. Can't believe how hot it is. Alright, where were we? Yeah. Cree Valley asked, what do you think about the Wyckoff accumulation that's going on? I think it's been passed around on Twitter. I think I think Julian, he really likes that shit. The other day, Thursdays is sort of his day in the lounge to have fun. And he runs a show called the Baby Powder Report on Thursdays. And I think he was talking quite a bit about that. I'd have to go and see if I can surf through the chat here. If anybody happens to have it handy, you can post it. But I'd have to surf through the chat to try and. Deborn, here's a list we made last year and can complement your top. Yeah, well, that's cool. Thanks, Sharky. What's this? I got a feeling I'm supposed to start dancing. Anybody ever heard this song before? I wonder if I get banned though from YouTube if I play this song. So probably better stop or else I'm gonna get in trouble. Thank you for the post, everyone. Alright, so my answer to you is Julian in the lounge actually had a really cool breakdown of that. And I don't discount it. I do find it interesting that Mr. Wu, I think he's Mr. Wu. He was calling for significant bass down in here. And I did hear some people were saying on social media that he is catching quite a bit of heat over this. But honestly, this wouldn't surprise me one bit if that is that Wyckoff accumulation pattern. Wouldn't surprise me at all. The issue that I have here is I think that actually, you guys are going to hate me for saying this. But I actually really do like the idea that Bitcoin ultimately wants to go down to about $11,000 or so here. The only way that that is actually going to be negated is this 43,300 area has to be taken out. If it's not, then I can't see why we don't go down to this level. Also, too, you can kind of see we're at a bit of an apex here, and we've kind of talked about this in the past, that now I actually think the market's actually getting pretty oversold. We've been going one direction now for basically 3 months? Since that Coinbase IPO. And frankly speaking, I think the whole damn thing is all about Coinbase IPO. That was the whole reason why the market got bid up to begin with, and it was the whole reason why the market has come off here now. And yet, isn't it fascinating? Not a single fucking person in this world is talking about that. Nobody in crypto is talking about this. I can't believe how Wall Street got away with this. It's beautiful. And they even found some chump-ass, bitch-ass, punk-ass knucklehead to totally distract this community with that stupid dog money shit. So, I think, when my perspective, 50 years, if I was sitting in a brokerage house talking to clients, he's running a book of business, I'd say Wall Street got away with the most beautiful fucking con job around. It was textbook. And they played the public like a fucking fiddle here. But that's not very politically correct, is it? I think I want to go get my broker's license back so I can just sit there and talk to high net worth guys and say what I feel like without having to worry about being PC. Everybody remember my wife passed away 10 years ago, so for a few, 5 or 6 years, and, following that event and having to deal with my special needs son on my own and having no help and no guidance, I had lost a lot of confidence in just even being alive. But I can feel I got my mojo back now. I don't need to play the politically correct game, so I don't do any of that bullshit on fucking Google and, hit the like button, subscribe, suck my dick, all that shit. I don't do any of that. And I don't really care. What I'm here to do is make money from trading, which, of course, none of these people can do. It's beautiful to watch. You really don't know why there's so many mafiosos and so many Joey Diamonds in this world? It's because these people do not know how to control their own behavior. That's the whole point of learning how to trade. Is if you could control your own behavior, you don't have to do any of this shit. And I don't have to do any of this shit. I could turn the whole damn thing off today and you never hear from me again. I actually have enough money right now, I don't even need to worry about it. And of course, if the whole fucking thing falls off the rails, we've always got our Bitcoin sitting there in cold storage. So, if somebody asks me point blank what I think's going to happen here, what I think's going to happen is we've got the market nice and negative. You guys are freaking out. There's no more circle jerking. All the, the people that were into DeFi right now, they're scared. That's what I see right now, which is good. This is what I needed to see. This is what I wanted to see. And frankly speaking, I don't know whether I'm totally convinced on this DeFi shit. You might find that the central planners go, enough is enough, folks. This is getting a little out of hand. I don't know. We'll see. Point here is I do like this sort of negative tone of the market right now, and what would be absolutely perfect here is a nice little fuck you. Keep in mind this bearish bot's still working. Right into our old buddy Brandon Rigo, Mountain Man, and then actually a nice spike right back up into these levels. And basically our summer looks something like that. That's what I'm thinking here right now. And I do remember over the past month or two, I've been cautioning and warning that there's got to be this big sort of stimulus. We have to keep the Fakazi going, print more money, mortgage our future, blah, 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 blah. Out of Mr. Biden. And of course he's socialist, so he loves printing money. He loves spending other people's money. Ironically enough, maybe his push And then I think, unfortunately, the market's not going to get very happy this fall. That might actually lay the groundwork for the Republicans to come charging back into power. And when's that next election? It's got to be coming up pretty soon, eh? Is it the summer of 2022? Is that when the election should be? Because my hunch is in the summer of 2022, Republicans take back control of the Congress, and all this sort of MMT kind of conversation, it all disappears. But not till then. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the interesting thing is, I'm not even going to conjecture about that. Maybe. Should we play some bets? We should probably, what would be really cool is on the site, we should create like a matrix of bets. Mind you, the Americans, they wouldn't like that. When is the date of your official demise? Well, they're betting on next Wednesday. Yeah. I get the impression that, for whatever it's worth, I get the impression that the 1% got away with it this go round. We'll see. I mean, it's not over yet, that's for certain, but I get the feeling that they've gotten away with it. Anyway, like Klaus, man, I've been barking on social media about Klaus recently. I think Klaus has gotten away with what he wants. And it's so sad. The leader of my country right now is actually the offspring of probably one of our country's most socialist leaders. And he's just as socialist as his dad. A borderline kind of communist, because actually they were buddy-buddy with Fidel Castro. So, you could argue that the leader of my country right now, he actually really likes the way that Winnie the Pooh can basically tell his population whatever he wants to see happen. That's what's going to happen. Mr. Trudeau in my country has experienced a lot of backlash from local populations that don't want his policies, and it's driving him absolutely crazy. And of course it makes me put a big smile on my face. But anyway, what can you do? So ultimately, I do like the idea of the corn working its way down here, but through the summer, I get the feeling the negativity is pretty palatable. I think it's not a bad idea to have some stink bids working. You might be able to get some cheap crypto here. Might be able to get some cheap Bitcoin. Same thing with Ethereum, and unfortunately, I think right now it's not really Bitcoin that's the problem. I think it's more the DeFi space. That's didn't we hear that Mark Cuban now wants to basically regulate the shit out of DeFi? He's all bitter because he got rug pulled. So I really don't foresee Ethereum cranking all the way down here. I would be shocked if this ABCD played out. Probably more likely it's like the log scale one, yeah. So you kind of have to eyeball it. Boom, 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 boom. That takes us somewhat, right into this area. So I don't mind us dipping against 78.6, but I've been on the buy side. Now, in fact, really, I do like the idea of a nice revisit of value low here. And $1,000, nice big fat round number, makes total sense to me. This is, I've said this repeatedly, I think this is the buying window. Now, do we have any W's here working? No. So you want to just nanny nibble kind of idea over the next few months? Okay. And if we actually start getting some serious W action, well, you want to be loaded up so that when she's ready to go and the next wave comes along, you're in. So that's what I would strongly suggest you start planning for. No idea how long this takes. No guarantees from the management, but what I will say is we are finally back into those reload zones I've been talking about for quite a while. And I do like the idea that if you have the opportunity, I think they originally said And I don't know whose number came up with this, but I do remember a few years ago, somebody said if you could get 32 Ethereums, then you should be able to have an income for the rest of your life. So that's going to be about, just even at current price, that's going to be what, about 60 G's or so. But you do see that the bottom here is 1,000, so maybe that, you know, works out to like maybe about 50 G's or so. You park in this thing over the next few months, you might be setting yourself up with that opportunity to create an income for the rest of your life. Yeah, it's up to you. I wouldn't say there's actually an outright buy signal here, but I would say, like I said, I am actually starting to accumulate. Now we are back into reload zones. Alright, blah, 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 blah. Sure hope you're enjoying the frivolity. Remember, not investment advice. I don't really care what you do with your money. You do with your money as you please. I'm more talking here because everybody loves how I dance and the fact that I'm so damn handsome. So, actually, I wouldn't even consider what I'm talking about here as trading advice, because I'm not giving you trading advice. I'm just, you know, bragging about how hot I am. What? Where's Kirad? Kirad, I hope you heard that. Our inside joke. We'll see whether he listened to these over the night, because we'll have a funny laugh in the day trader room tomorrow. If he did hear that. It's an inside joke, everybody. Yeah, okay, so, you know, I do find it interesting. I've been nibbling on a lot of these kind of things. This KLAY, I didn't get filled here on this one yet. Down here, bidding down, reload zone, blah, 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 blah. MIST, this was one of Chico's. I'm very interested in that. Been nibbling away. Stake, same thing. Went and picked up some more of that. I mean, all of these, love them. Got Shitcoin 5000. I've been buying a bunch of these Shitcoin 5000s. I thought this was interesting. Look at that little grouslings. Shitcoin 5000. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here, but, you know, I'm coming in where a whole bunch of other people are also long, so we'll see what. It might age beautifully. It might turn into a total disaster. We will see how it goes. First complaining about how hot he is, now bragging about how hot he is. Thanks, Nick. I gotta say, I like this crew that we have on Wednesday. This is a really cool crew and it was done totally by accident, but we got like one regular site member. We got one guy who is referred to come into the education program by one of our OGs, and I think he's getting good value. I think he sees good value. And we got one guy who's in the level 2 program, and I can just see, I mean, he's already bought the Kool-Aid. He's in full bore. It's really cool to chat with them and get their different perspectives. And, you know, hopefully what I see over time is their individual maturation as traders. It's a lot of fun. So check out that. We talk specifically crypto on Wednesdays. But that's actually more sort of senior names. This kind of stuff, this is just Shitcoin 5000, me just Brian having fun. One, Joshua, I see you over there. One that I actually do really want to keep a close eye on is look at this energy webs, right? I had that on the screen earlier. So, man, we should keep a close eye on this. And I asked the boys whether they could pick some more up, but I might have to get you to buy me some, and then I'll have you settle up with Sjord kind of thing. But if that fires, man, I want to go grab some more of that. So. Just saw you over there on YouTube. Okay, back to our questions. I can't even remember what the hell the question was. Does anybody remember what the question was? What was the question? Oh, yeah, the breadth. What do you think? Did we answer the question about the breadth indicator? Oh, God. Alex Shirazi says, Dear friends, oh, by the way, everyone, Alex, we're all Alex's friend here now, so I don't know whether you're aware of that or not. Actually, let's finish with Rezvan here, and then we'll go over and we'll listen to our friend and what he has to say. So, Rezvan, are you still here? Or did we lose him? Well, I'm going to assume that he was placated. Oh, it's on Kraken? I didn't know that. Hey, actually, I should tell Sjord that then. because I think he has an account on Kraken. Okay, so I'm going to assume that Resvan is placated. Number 3, Elon Musk. Oh, no. Can you explain how warrant work? Oh, boy. Can I explain how a warrant works? Well, just simply put, a warrant is a sweetener, for lack of a better word. So, Mr. Musk, if that is your real name, we'll just say, AKA Alan. So I'll call you Alan from now on. So a warrant is nothing more than a sweetener. So what does that mean? Remember, companies, they want to go and do stuff in this world, but what do they have as sort of currency to use to actually go and pay for stuff? They have their company stock. So just like, Canada has the loonie, United States has the greenback, Britain has the British pound. I mean, it used to be that your currencies were your company or your country's capital stock. Of course, that all got thrown out the window with Tricky Dick and fiat currency world that we live in now. So I don't know whether it's really a good idea to think of your country's currency as its capital stock. Because frankly speaking, they're just diluting the shit out of the currencies just to serve their socialist agendas. So if that's the case, then what it means is the capital stock of your country is collapsing. Oh, wonderful. Thanks. Appreciate that, big brother. Thank you so much. Come again. All over my face. What? Oh, no. So, how does it work in the capital markets? Well, theoretically, companies, they will go to the market and say, in exchange for part ownership of our company, we would like to raise some money to go and do a project. So sometimes the financing alone is not enough. Yeah, good point there, Cravali. Sometimes to get that money from the market, companies will even say something like, look, if you buy our stock, we will give you these little special certificates that will let you buy more stock down the road at a nice cheap price. A lot of people in social media and stuff, they get stinking rich because they were in a tech company and they got options, which is kind of the same thing. And then the stock goes through the roof and they've got company stock options and they go and sell them and woohoo, they're millionaires. So in essence, a warrant is pretty much the same thing. Colleen here's got a definition of a warrant. I guess a website that she shared. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't really, especially if you're in the level 1 program and you're asking about warrants, I don't want you trading warrants. At least if you buy a cryptocurrency, you buy a Bitcoin, well, okay, at least you bought it. What you have to understand with these warrants and options is that they have time value and they have an expiration date, and if the market goes beyond that expiration date and you haven't done anything with the warrant, well, the warrant just disappears. Poof, gone. It just literally evaporates. Same thing with options. So, in the level 1 program, we, introduce you to options to understand the VIX index as a way to understand market volatility. But also, too, what we really want you thinking about with options in the level 1 course is insurance. You're just buying some insurance. But to speculatively play warrants and options, I think that that's actually a more advanced concept. And I would prefer in the level 1 program you leave them alone. It's probably not in your best interest. You do hear us on the site going all crazy about trading warrants and making tons of money, but you got to understand what the fuck you're getting involved with here. And I don't like people just coming off the sidelines and going, "Hey, I'll trade these warrants and make a pile of money." I mean, our market timings models are good, and we try to make sure that we're buying tons of time, because that's the trick. If there's any current level 3ers, we just went through that. Option writers, you want to concentrate on the near end of the theta curve. Option purchasers, you want to concentrate on the long end of the theta curve. So we do all of the things that you got to do to try and increase the odds of you making money trading these products, but you got to understand they are high risk. They are not products that the public should just trade willy-nilly. So, you asked my definition of what a warrant is. That's a warrant. How do they work? As I said, they are just nothing more than an you could use the word option, but option, oh boy, that carries a whole bunch of connotations. But in essence, they are a piece of paper that gives the holder the right to do something, i.e. usually buy more stock from the company directly for a specific stated amount of time. So, if a warrant had an exercise price of, like, say, $1, and the stock went through the roof, well, the warrants can go through the roof. So, as an example of, just to tease you and drive you crazy, and maybe, if we're lucky, tease you enough to the point where you go, fuck, man, I got to take that goddamn program so I can trade these damn things. But, everybody's all excited about alternative fuel companies. And, I wouldn't be surprised. I think we found out that BlackRock is a big investor in this. So what a surprise. We're getting fucking shilled out the ass. We're blowing up our environment. Fossil fuels are killing everything. So you better stop doing that right now. I mean, frankly speaking, I don't even think there's even hard evidence that that's the case. But that's just Bryant. And remember, I used to work in an industry where I would watch film of literally natural gas bubbling to the surface of this planet Earth uncontrollably 24 hours a day, coming out of the core of the planet, and it's happening as we speak. So if you're really trying to tell me you understand the chemistry of this planet, I don't hear anybody talking about Younger Dryas. If anybody really wanted to talk about climate change and they really wanted to talk about global, oh, gee whiz, we're going to change the name to global warming. Oh, no, well, this year was a bit cooler there, so I can't use global warming. I know, we'll change it to climate change. Whatever we have to change it to ram this shit down this public throat. That's what it is. But if you really want to have an intellectual conversation with me, with the planet Earth and what its climate is doing, let's talk Younger Dryas. You understand Younger Dryas? Then you understand how completely and utterly meaningless our current civilization is in the grander scheme of things. Boom. Kevin says not true. Kevin's going to debate me? What's Kevin going to debate me on? Sorry, two Kevins. Okay, so you guys are going on about something else. I get all excited. Yeah, that's right, Mr. Frost. That's fucking right. I mean, it pisses you off how... And what's worse is these goddamn kids, they are being manipulated by Klaus. They're being manipulated by him. And there's nothing you can do to talk sense to these kids. Like Greta. Greta is being played like a fucking $2 fiddle. Oh well, what can you do? Okay. Brian. Crazy nut. I swear, I'm going to get myself shot. But the good part about it, and I don't know whether this is going to be like fucking Mr. Dick Eater, but maybe I become a martyr. I don't know. I mean, if anything, what I espouse is no bullshit, right? I talk to you guys honestly from my heart. No fucking bullshit. I'm not selling you anything. Hell, I own everything, so there's no point in me talking my book because I own everything. You know, a guy like that Larry Fig guy, he's got a very specific agenda. He's long like $100 billion worth of Tesla stock or whatever the fuck it is. He has got to get you to the point where you're like, please, governments, mandate that we all get Teslas in our stockings this Christmas. It has to be law. That's what he wants. All right, so Elon Musk, aka Alan. I don't know how the fuck we got on this tangent, but do you understand how words work now? Elon Musk, are you here? I don't even know if he's even here. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. And you know, I've said this to all the goddamn environmentalists. It is so simple. You want to solve the environmental problem, go and plant a fucking tree. Stop cutting the goddamn trees down. It's that simple. But do they? No. They just keep fucking cutting down more trees. So, anyway, that's another. Okay, so I'm going to assume that Alan has had his question answered. Okay, can you please do one example of confirmed MACD divergence with the exact point of confirmation? Well, this is next week's work, so no, there's really no point. Or actually, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now. So there's no point in doing that now. You're going to spend a whole week on that. Number 5. Grim will probably be bashing me for asking too many questions outside of level 1. But can you show us how you employ chaos theory in identifying trading locations? What are the advantages, disadvantages of derived levels compared to fibs? I want you to get really good in the level 1 course identifying reload zones. Got to get involved in getting really good at seeing those reload zones. I also want you to get really good at identifying 38.2 first stop targets. That's what, level 1, you got to get really good at that. Ironically enough, chaos theory, the best way to do this, and this is sort of the same thing that you learn through that fib module, is what you want to look for is confluence. So, I never talked about this blink, did I? You want to see? This is so cool. Check this out. Why would I want to buy a warrant? This is $42.27 a share. Well, I mean, it was pretty cheap, but actually, I got it, it bottomed at $2. Paying $2 for a stock, to me, that's sacrilegious. That's a lot of money. So, cheap-ass Brian sees the bottom at $2 and goes, okay, there's got to be a way I can get in on this thing on the cheap, right? So it's $2. That's too much. So, I went and I bought the warrant at, right here, at 25 cents. So, I basically spent about 1/10 the cost as I could have spent on the stock, and of course sell half on double. In fact, actually, I think I sold halves on triples, and I'm still in this warrant. And right now the warrant's $37.85. So that's why I like warrants, because you can get stinking rich off of them. I mean, that's a lot of money. What is that? That's 30 cents to 370 would be 10x, to 30 cents, that's 100x. And actually, for whatever it's worth, I was selling up here. So I still have some more on the books here. And of course, I think my next sell order is up around 72. All right, and every time it doubles, I just keep selling more, right? Yeah, same old thing. So that's why I really like warrants, because you can come in and buy these things for a fucking song and a dance. And, they have to follow the stock. They have no choice. And you can see we got tons of them. Here's a really cool one. This guy's in the oil services industry. So I don't like investing in oil. But I don't mind investing in companies that make money off the back of the oil industry. That's okay. But you tell me, has this thing got any room to move up if they sort of get their act together? What was this high just from, that was $3. And Kavarkinator, I think we're long from like 6 cents on this crazy thing. So we're already up 100, or what's that? We're already up over 10x. And of course, selling halves on doubles the whole way. But, you know, it's just what we do. Actually, this is a kind of a cool one. This is one of our old site members, Jamie. He discovered Tough Build, good trade on the stock. We found the warrant, which we could buy on the cheap, and of course, banging out doubles, nice trading. And this one came all the way right back down. I think I did actually go and buy some of these back down here. So that's why I like trading warrants. It's a lot of fun. Okay, let's keep moving forward here. Oh yeah, that's right, chaos theory. You know, for example, like this kind of idea. What I want you out of level 1 doing is, you know, if we're thinking about coming in down here, is I want you, number 1, going, okay, what is a reload zone off of this previous range? So, there's 38.2, 50%. There is the reload short zone. This can be a stock, it can be a warrant, it can be a cryptocurrency. It doesn't matter. This is what you have to get good at. You know, here's a pot stock. Let's do the same damn thing. Look at this. Has this thing got any room to move up here if it gets its act together? Oh my goodness. You should be able to look at this and go, all right, well, there's the low end of the range, there's the high end of the range, there is the reload zone. And we should all look at this and go, well, this right here is a really good example of what? Let's see if anybody can finish this sentence. That area right up there. What's that a good example of? Excellent, Rachel. You better be careful, Rachel. I'm going to fall in love with you. Thoughts on REITs? Oh, goodness. REITs, that's interesting. I'd have to look at some charts. So, this is in essence, you know, somebody was bullish and somebody said, enough going up, you go down now. So, we like to call that an institutional fingerprint. There's our reload short zone. So, what a surprise. You can see those lining up. This is what you have to learn on a level 1 program. And then, what I want you thinking about is things like extensions. So, if I go there to there, how is this market going to work its way back up? So we can see, you know, A, B, C, D is probably some nice targets up in this area in the near term. I would also say, too, you know, hopefully what you saw out of the level 1 program, what do markets in transition look like? This kind of looks like a head and shoulders pattern. Yeah, so something along those lines. It's not the best, but anyway, hopefully you get the idea. So, need for you to be able to see these extension levels heading back up. The final piece to this, and I haven't included it in the education program yet, just because I just started working with this concept about a year ago. And I don't really want to teach something that I don't even know whether I even understand it yet. But if you find a head and shoulders pattern, then hopefully what you can also think of is take the distance from the right shoulder back up to the neckline, right? That's our head and shoulders, which we did with the gold. Remember that from last week. So there's a cool target, but you can also now think of Foggenbaum levels. So we can go 2.618, we can go 4.669, and for now, I'm going to limit my analysis to 8.77. I still haven't been like totally convinced on 16. And I don't even know exactly what the number is. I know there's some number up there around 16 and change. But still the jury's out. So if I do that on this, then I'm going to take that low against that high. And now we can start incorporating foggies. And notice 2.679, that's going to be very close to the top of that parking garage. And I remember this is the parking garage you learned about. So my hunch is that head and shoulders people that play this move up top here, they're going to have their orders to get out at the head and shoulders objective, right? It's the exact replication of this range. Boom, 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 boom. So they're going to be getting out here, and what usually happens is there's a big push. And of course, who's going to be buying this push into this zone here? Who's buying here? I don't know. Anyone? Yeah. Good job, Colleen. Nicely said. You can tell Colleen's now a gnarly old veteran, because instead of saying the public, she goes retail. So she already has the lingo down. So what ends up happening, of course, is the professionals, they're taking profits into the parking garage, and we know that the market's probably going to bounce into there. So having your orders up in this area, you should get filled. Then, ironically enough, most times the market actually comes back down to the neckline and then takes another run up. And our next stop, and this is probably pertinent here, is notice 4.669 is right between 38.2 and 50%. What do we call this level on the site these days? I used to have a different name for it, but I kind of like this site. I like to make site people famous. Especially good karma people. I love to empower good karma people. So, 38.2 up to 50%. What good karma person are we talking about here? No one? No one? Think he's got good karma. Maybe he doesn't. Which maybe could be mistaken. I thought he did. Right. In the education program, we call this the first stop target. So it shouldn't surprise you that, gee whiz, a foggy level's right in there. And of course, I used to work with a guy in New York, Ray Burchett, and he was all excited about that level. But recently on the site, we had one gentleman, I think he works at Hero, and we called this Collins. And in this case, since the market's going down, we're going to call this the dump chaser zone. And I kind of like that. It works for me. What a surprise. Can you see how foggies and Collins dump chaser zone? This is good old WD GAM. Sitting right there at 50% roll. And you can even see there's a little gap right there that needs filling. 91% of the time, gap gets filled in. So point here is now hopefully you're starting to see confluence. And then next one, up into that institutional fingerprint and into the reload short zone. So this would be red. There's another foggy boggy level. Isn't that kind of cool? So that's what I would suggest you do is you try and see if you can understand this idea of confluence. Remember we said that we want to have 3 reasons for a trade. Where really what fibs and foggies and all that kind of fun conversation is just speaking to trade location. That first reason to justify risking your hard-earned money. Get that down good? And the odds of success go way, way up. So this is, and now you can use this as a nice little tutorial. And Murad, if you're writing up the summary, you could do a nice little sort of Brian walk through how we're going to use Foggenbaum and fib retracement levels and to further identify trade location. We'll throw that in the lounge for you. So there you go. All right. Number 6, I have a hard time implementing harmonics AEB equals CD on my paper trades. Would show another example, please. Also, once the price gets into a reload zone, bullish trend with a proper market structure and momentum, should we take profit at the 50% or sell half on a double? Well, this question's really about what you want. I mean, I can't tell you what trade setup and what kind of trade risk taker you are. I just, it's a really easy model to follow. This whole idea of like sell half on a double. You reduce the amount of thinking involved. You reduce the amount of analysis. You reduce the amount of energy that you spend actually managing your portfolio. Let's keep it really, really, really simple. But that doesn't mean it's right, or that doesn't mean it's the only way to trade. I mean, really, it's up to you. I mean, and if you're trading like futures contracts, well, then of course there's no such thing as sell half on a double. That doesn't exist. So I can't, you say, should we take profit at the 50% level or sell half on a double? Interestingly enough, Jay, the answer to your question is you're going to go through, do 100 of these paper trades like we asked you to do, and you are going to see for yourself which strategy sort of speaks most to you, the individual. You should have this data in your journal. You should. In fact, what should happen is in your journal, as you're going through those 100 paper trades, you're going to be talking to yourself, maybe even your peers, and you're going to be analyzing the statistical data. And you're going to come to the conclusion, I don't like doing that much work. I've got a full-time job. So it's actually really easy just to implement the sell half on a double strategy, because then that way I just don't have to do that much work. Conversely, you might be like, well, a lot of these names, they don't set up doubles very easily. The price is a fraction of doubling. Or maybe what you say is, I'm only going to hunt setups where the price of the asset will have doubled at the 50% level. That's up to you. But the only way you're going to come to whatever it is that works best for you is you have to put the time and effort in to build that spreadsheet, build that data matrix, and have that conversation with yourself. Remind yourself that you're a damn handsome person while you're at it. All right, so I don't know whether that helps you or not. I don't, in level 1, I don't even want you thinking about harmonics, quote unquote, right? Try and just get that sort of thinking out of your brain right now. If we're actually down the road thinking about actually trading harmonically, then we actually have to think of point D in the harmonic sort of, cadence as the actual potential trade location, and nothing about harmonics means anything unless everything sets up right at the point D point. So we haven't even gone into that. I don't even want you thinking about harmonic trading right now. I just want you thinking, and we'll use that ACB as a good example. I just want you thinking like, okay, I see this asset, and this probably isn't the best one, but I see this asset that was here. And it worked its way up to here. Boom, boom. Usually, markets like to move symmetrically. So how does that symmetrical move look like? Usually it's a first leg, second leg. The fact that the second leg takes us up into a natural extension level should make you say, all right, if I'm going to buy a W down here, and let's say I'm going to buy there and I'm going to risk all the way down to the bottom, well, I have to make darn sure that I'm going to stick it out and wait till that A, B, C, D level is traded to, or I get stopped out, which will probably produce 2.19 risk reward. What a surprise, because that's usually a trader's trade, 2-to-1 risk reward. So my hunch is, I don't know how this thing's going to look, but if there was a trade, it'd be nice to see a nice little consolidation in here. just set up a nice little range so you can take a shot. And you're going to buy that breakout. You're going to use the A, B, C, D as your profit objective. You're going to draw your extension levels. And you're going to try and sort of guesstimate which extension level they're trying to shoot for. And if you want to use that as a visual cue of when to take profits, totally cool. You know, I would say that 113 level is probably the area I'd be interested in there. Also, too, you can kind of see down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? You can kind of see there's a trading range in here. So now we're going to go like off of that high. What a surprise. We got A, B, C, D. We got 113, and we got this old horizontal support level. Resistance, whatever. So you can see there's pretty good reason to look for a stab up into that area. Hopefully that helps. You can see that. There it is. A, B, C, D. Hunting along. Going to risk against the low. Maybe your indicators are in bullish divergence. Good trade location. A, B, C, D. This produced a nice 2 to 1 risk reward. Hell, if this is double, awesome. Sell half. Make it real easy. And you got no risk on the rest of it. Maybe it isn't, right? Maybe, and here, this happens to be a double, so fucking A. But maybe it isn't. Maybe it only goes to, like, say, you know, it's $10 and it's only 15 to there. Maybe you sell 3/4 of the position. 5/8. Yeah, whatever. 7/8. And move your stop to scratch on the remaining and just see if you can ride the rest. Up to you. Hopefully that helps explain, you know, that A, B, C, D kind of continuation pattern a little bit easier for you. And I'd also say, too, you know, you just sort of were introduced to this concept over the past week or two. So now, Jay, your job is to go out and do a shitload of these charts and post in your room. Guys, is this a correct AB equals CD? Am I drawing this correctly? Does this look somewhat right? And just work with your peers. That's why we have the education rooms. That's why we have the group tutorials. That's why we have the TAs. That's why Grim's got his office hours. You've got to put the time and effort in and just bang out a ton of examples. All right. Looks like Jay's placated. Over on YouTube, he's saying he feels good. All right, number 7. Hi, Brian. Currently moving through the level 1 course, which is fantastic, may I add. All right, well, that's cool. But I must confess I have yet to start paper trading. Well, okay. During each week course, I practice my charting techniques, such as identifying price patterns and drawing fibs. But I am yet to pretend entering trades and tracking outcomes. My thinking was that I'd get to the end of the level 1 course to have the complete picture before executing tracking my paper trades. What are your thoughts, please? My thoughts are this is kind of like a muscle memory that you have to kind of train yourself. The sooner you get on it, the better. And I hate to say it, but once you finish the education program, you know, either A, you're going to stop the education program with us and life will get in the way and then you'll start drifting off in another direction. It just shit happens. That's the way it goes. Or B, you keep moving on with the program and we keep just blasting you with more and more and more shit. So the answer is you just got to get in there now and just I don't even give a shit if your paper trades make money or lose money. That's not the point of it. The point of it is to practice that muscle memory, the habit, have to identify where I'm going to enter, what I'm going to risk to, where I'm going to take profits ahead of the trade. Before you ever put the fucking trade on, you already know all of the levels ahead of time. That's what you have to get good at. And then, you know, logging it in your spreadsheet. Making sure that you don't make mistakes. You don't enter the data wrong. You'd be surprised how many people just don't enter the data correctly. So you got to get good at doing that. It might take you 10, 20 trades just to get into the habit of actually logging this shit correctly. Regardless of whether the trade idea works or not. So that's really what you're here to learn, is that muscle memory activity process that all traders must go through. And I don't care whether you make or lose money. That's not the point of this exercise. So hopefully that answers your question. Quit making excuses and just get in there and do it. Alright, number 8. Have you ever made a tutorial video on how to make a really good breadth chart? I've been working on making mine so that when I get off work I can zip through some TradingView charts and get a quick idea of what's happening for the day. Could you dip through the one you use in a quick video? Longbow. Well, theoretically that was the whole point of this this exercise that we started in on a million years ago, was to have a quick repository for this data that we can take a really quick, thorough look at the whole market and get a pretty good idea. We started this adventure in basically January 2018. So what year is it? It is June 2021. Never been closer. So, as soon as this is up and running, I'll be more than happy to do the videos. Fortunately, I can't comment until this shit's ready to go. Theoretically, we're pretty damn close. I've got it set up now. You can see the crypto universe is trying to turn. Looks like Dow Industrials are trying to turn back up. Looks like transports are trying to turn back up. Good to see. Transports like to lead. Looks like commodities are trying to turn back up. Looks like the bond market is turning back down. There's the S&P 500 breadth. Interesting commodity proxies, the Canadian stock market and the Australian stock market looking really bad here. And actually this sort of meets my expectations. I don't know whether you're aware or not, but actually I think that the commodity bulls market is over. It ended actually like a couple of years ago. But unfortunately, because they have gone and completely diluted the purchasing power of the currency here, now you can't see it. I mean, it's beautiful, the fucking scam the 1% has pulled here. You can't even see what they've done. It's incredible. So, oh well. What can you do? And also too, you know, this, I mean, like I can bang my head up and, you know, against the walls only so many times. But after a while, I get the feeling that people are just going to tune me out. And that's exactly what should happen. Because that's exactly what the 1% wants. What I would just simply say here, though, is, you know, this is this kind of idea of hard assets versus soft assets. I still think we are up at the hard asset cycle peak. And we actually now have to go through a soft asset or a paper asset preference cycle. And that should persist for like the next 15 years or so. So that's how I'm positioning myself, for whatever it's worth. All right, we should be just about winding up here. So, how to make a really good breadth chart? I'm not quite sure what that means. You know, like I did for you in the level 1, I gave you that template of this matrix. That's got all the 52-week high, 52-week lows. This is the percentage of stocks above and below their VWAPs. This is the advanced decline line. This is the put to call ratio. This is the volatility index. This is the Dow versus the transports, looking for Dow theory signals. This is the gold versus silver, get an idea of sort of the strength of the economy. TLP versus TIPS, this is basically our inflation-deflation gauge, what's actually happening in the market. Dow versus gold ratio, of course you all know this, and then Dow versus gold versus Bitcoin. And over here I've got, this is sort of a visualization of the differences between the S&P, sort of the Fugazi nonsense, and the actual adjusted price. What's real and what isn't. So to give you an idea, I mean, this is the worst part about it, right? Economics 101. This is what you see in the newspaper, printing higher and higher and higher prices. But this, the orange line, is actually sort of real value. And you can see we're nowhere near the value of what stocks were worth back in the dot-com day. Nowhere even close. Yet on the money printing perspective, look at the difference. I mean, we're like many multiples higher. So it just goes to show, I mean, they totally have fucked us here. Totally. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's just literally nothing you can do about it. It's quite remarkable. I wonder if these banksters and stuff and Rothschilds, do they actually have to stand in front of God and answer for all of this? I'll be curious, when I get to the other side to see what the answer is. Because if they don't, then it sure depresses the hell out of you about how terrible this species really is. Really bad species. Ironically enough, for the planet Earth, it probably would be better for the planet Earth if our species was removed from this planet. Terrible species. Not impressed with this species at all. So, anyway, there's a nice happy thought for you. If you ever want to get back to sort of the basics of life, go and spend some time with a low-functioning special needs person. It's remarkable how all of this nonsense about how the rich just fuck us over and stuff, how all of that stuff is so completely meaningless. How arrogant they are, and the actual sort of like building blocks of life, how so completely detached it is with the reality that we're forced to live in here. It's remarkable. Anyway. Hopefully, 100 years from now, when you're watching this video, you've solved some of these problems. Hopefully, you've been able to deal with the Joey Diamonds of the world. And even, Alan. Terribly irresponsible behavior by Alan. Terribly irresponsible. And it just keeps going on and on and on. Anyway. Okay, so, I'm not quite sure how I want... Maybe let's, Longbow, if you're on the site, can you maybe articulate this question a little bit clearer? Are you talking about the site information? Or are you talking about the tools that I've given you in the level 1 program? Why can't you replicate those? Yeah, definitely. Well, and I have a hard time with this existence because my son never was consulted as to whether he would like to have this life or not. And that's the thing that really bugs me about this life. So, anyway. It sure, because I've gone through this, it sure makes me value, and especially with my wife doing what she did, sure makes me value that the time that I do have, I want to use it constructively to do those things like, let's make a positive difference in this world. And I don't really give a fuck about money because money doesn't mean anything. But at the same time, too, it's so frustrating because the people that do control the money strings, they know that, and nothing will change as long as they keep controlling the money strings. So I don't know what you do. I mean, this goes all the way back to fucking Jesus. This goes all the way back to Jesus. I was watching, about once a month, I forced myself to sit and watch the Money Masters video. And of course, talking about the Jews and the way that they took advantage of each other terribly. They actually fixed the price of the currency that you had to make a donation to the temple, and they literally took advantage of other Jews. Man, that's terrible karma. Terrible karma. Oh, well. Crazy world. Okay, number 10. I guess number 9 got wiped out, eh? Boom. And by the way, after we're done this, I go straight to Liam. And he and I will just spend the whole day just trying to put a smile on his face. That's what I do after I'm done these videos. Then I come back and I usually sit and cry a little bit about how fucked up my life is. And then start it all again tomorrow. Anyway. All right, number 9. Hi, Brian. Can you show us how to use BTC dominance chart in correlation with altcoins. I guess the way that I like to use it is I've drawn this funny little, it's kind of a funny, and I don't even know if it's real or not, but I have seen other people on social media do this, where this is the market cap BTC dominance calculated by TradingView, whatever the hell that means. And whenever I see M's on this, then that's actually bullish for altcoins. And whenever I see W's on this, that's usually bearish for altcoins. And you know, since we've been studying this, actually, it's quite remarkable how consistent this has been. So we did have a big old M here that stopped the bear slide, and you can see I had a little sort of prognostication what's going to happen. So down we go. Then what are we going to do? We're going to M or W. You can see we quickly little W'd, but then they quickly took it back. And then they broke down. And of course, this was our huge altcoin rally that we just saw there. And unfortunately, you can see, boom, they've just gone and W'd. So I think that we're back into sort of altcoins are in the cupboard. But this thing could go and M out and add right back down any day here. Probably this trend is going to be valid in my eyes, kind of like what we saw here, as long as this channel is still working. As soon as the channel low is lost and we start Ming out, then on the other side of this channel, then I think the rally's done. So that's kind of what my expectations are in the short term. You know, they're going to call it like altcoin winter or whatever. What I'm just going to simply say is, you know, they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You know, like, do you want to go and pick up, why, if Mr. Monks thought his coin was so great at 60, 70 cents on a dip against these lows, do you want to go pick up some more? It's not a bad idea. It's going to be down in reload zones. You're not going to be chasing. If you sold some up top, maybe think about buying some back. You know, any of these BTT, I don't know what the fuck this thing is. You can see it's worked its way back down to a bottom. Same thing with this. Good old fucking Romano ass-eating coin. Right back down to the bottom. So this is sort of what, you know, altcoin winter looks like. These things just work their way right back down to the lows. And then, you know, just like every other cycle, as soon as the W's start coming in, maybe on bullish divergence, well, then you can start thinking about, okay, now we're going to start rocking and rolling. But my hunch is that as long as this is still sort of working its way higher here, you probably aren't going to see a lot of W's in those altcoins. I do like the idea over the next couple weeks, you know, maybe through early July, you know, usually by the end of July, early August, altcoins are rocking and rolling. So, I don't know where the top is. I mean, I don't know. This would be all the way to the middle of August, but it might come in quicker. It might be like that. You can see what happened here. It's going to look something like this. So I hope that helps answer that question. Nothing really definitive there, other than, we got to just cool our jets. How do you manage trading burnout? I don't know. Spend 2 or 3 hours on a weekend ranting at YouTube and social media and getting it all out. Blah! Did that wake anybody up? No? No one? Good idea to take vacation every once in a while. So I do force myself at the end of the school terms to like literally disconnect for a week or two if I can. And just not even load up the screen, not load up the website, not load up anything. Just totally disconnect. And you know, it's not a bad idea to have side projects. So if you know, like if we do decide to get that Hawaiian project up and running, that would be a great way to sort of disconnect and sort of recharge, you know, at the end of the school term and a trading term. Just go work on the property for a couple of weeks and sort of recharge. That would be ideal situation for me. So I hope that helps. Also, to remember. I don't know how to describe this. I mean, it all depends on what type of trader you are, right? If you're a position trader, ironically enough, there's not a hell of a lot of work to do. Once you have your plan up and running, you know what it is that gets you to buy and sell shit. Then once the plan's up and running, you might do like maybe a half an hour work a day. I mean, how can you get burnt out from that if you just go and, hookers and blow for the rest of the day? Just make sure to get a good night's sleep so that when you wake up in the mornings, no hangover or anything like that. But, do your business. And, bang out the doubles if you have to, and then close everything down, half hour, 45 minutes into your working day, and off to hookers and blow. So, that could be your lifestyle. I don't know whether it'll work or not, but you could give it a try and see what happens. I think I told you guys it's weird. Like in bull markets, right? It just goes boom, 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 right? And it's relentless. Like, and probably a lot of you saw that over that spring there. It just was day after day after day. It just never ended. But then once the market breaks, then, it's kind of funny talking to guys like Colin and Andrew and stuff like that. Once the market breaks, then they're sort of like, okay, now what? So, make hay while the sun's shining. That's what my old buddy used to always say. And then if you want to break when things calm down, that's, like right now is actually the perfect time to go take a break. So, all right, I think we'll leave it at that. I'm going to go get ready for the boa. Wish me luck. Oh, we had a pretty good conversation here today. Got all the answers, or all the questions answered. Glad to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the developments on the site and some things that I'm seeing in the market. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Wade, you're here in Vancouver? I didn't know that. Next time Andrew and I go out, we just had a fucking kick-ass rib barbecue, dude. I mean, fucking Andrew, he makes killer ribs. Oh my god, the meat just fell off the bone. So, I didn't know you were here in Vancouver, Wade. You should hook up with us. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. So like I said, wish me luck with Liam. PMA for the win. We'll see everybody, of course, tomorrow for a brand new awesome trading week. All the best. And the only thing left for Brian to say at this point is hearty bye for now.